Nature, viewed in its pristine and authentic state, appears ordered and harmonious. It has a pleasing aesthetic to the human mind and eye. Can such a pleasing aesthetic exist for human society? Do we have a natural state within which we could exist optimally, and through it, experience and radiate supreme beauty and harmony? For that to be contemplated, we need an appropriate understanding of what it means to be human. If we know what being human means, we may begin to explore what it takes to build the ideal society. What is it to be human is therefore the question with which we set out to discover the ideal natural state of humanity. The Qur'an offers answers to this question. According to the Qur'an, the human is neither God nor beast. Instead, the human is the intermediary between the divine creator and the rest of his earthly creation. The human transcends any beastly creation by being endowed with sentience, intellect, reflexiveness, and freedom to act with effect in the world. These are the core ingredients of human agency. With sentience comes will, with intellect comes inventiveness and ingenuity, and with reflexiveness comes the integration of these two. It is no wonder that the Qur'an calls man God's agent on earth. According to the Qur'an, being human means bearing the mantle of vicegerency from God. It is as a vicegerent of the cosmic creator and sustainer that the Qur'an proceeds to articulate the ideal society. The Qur'an makes the audacious claim that the ideal thriving human society exists, in which its members flourish in every way possible. For that to happen, however, society must individually and collectively, voluntarily subject itself to a code. In other words, society must be able to regulate itself in order for it to prosper and become great. The Qur'an advances the view that sensible individuals build sensible families, who, in turn, build a sensible society. Sensibility is the operative term. The term taqwa, translated to the word sensible here, is invoked hundreds of times in the Qur'an. It also translates to restraint, consideration, concern, carefulness, or discernment. This is the magical quality that transforms the errant and gullible man into the transcendent and powerful man, laying the basis for the ideal society. The Qur'an postulates that an ideal society is indeed possible, but makes it conditional on human beings controlling their propensity for destructive self-indulgence and perversion. The risks that come with free agency. In other words, subduing the human sensual, material, and power impulses inherent to being a sentient being to the human intellect. To reiterate, the Qur'an calls for humans to place their human urges under the control of their intellect, at both an individual and a collective level. But the Qur'an does not stop there. To this earthly purpose, the Qur'an furthermore offers the prospect of a cosmic sequel existence for those who succeed in maintaining restraint and discernment on earth. The ability to flourish as God's agent on earth therefore becomes the key to accessing the life beyond this earth. Divine judgment at the beginning of the next life is based on the behavior that man exhibited in his earthly life. These are terms in which the Qur'an locates the pursuit of the ideal society, creating an earthly mission and purpose to the human, and promising immortality and access to the cosmos in return. That which the members of the ideal society ultimately aspire to lies far beyond this world. That does not mean that the earthly impulses are denied. Men and women are complex creatures, intellectually, socially, emotionally, physiologically, and spiritually, to name but a few. The ideal society should allow not only for the expression of all these ways of being human, but also the space to grow and flourish in all of these ways. There has to be purposefulness to this world, as there is purposefulness to the world beyond. For that reason, does the Qur'an also offer a well-articulated set of core values and practices that balance freedom of personal choice with the best interests of society and the planet as a whole. By society as a whole, the Qur'an includes the living, the dead, and the unborn. The accumulation impulse is therefore articulated within a discourse of innovation and mutual advancement. The power impulse is located within a discourse of compassion and justice. The sexual impulse is located within a social justice and social cohesion discourse. The Qur'an defines man as a sublime creation endowed with godly characteristics, yet capable of beastly behavior if left unrestrained. The Qur'an promotes an appropriate channeling of basic human instincts to accomplish greater social goals. Restraint in the Qur'an does not mean abstinence from the things we crave, but rather harnessing them for the greater good. In summary, admitting to, then channeling the basic human urge and subduing it to the intellect within the context of a transcendent conceptualization of the world under the Supreme Creator is the route which the Qur'an offers towards building the ideal society.